In today's video, I'm gonna teach you how to stop being a people pleaser. And it's actually easier than you think. But the hardest part is the first part where you have to identify and be honest with yourself about what it actually means to be a people pleaser. Before I can teach you exactly how to stop being a people pleaser, we have to be honest about what it actually means to be one. When you are a people pleaser, this one's gonna hurt to hear. You're actually a manipulator. You are a manipulator who has been manipulated by other manipulators to be a manipulator. That was a lot of saying the same thing, I know. But essentially, when you're a people pleaser, you want to control how everyone sees you and how everyone reacts to you. You're trying to ask everyone if they're good. Are you okay? Is there anything I can do for you? You're literally looking out for everyone's micro expressions, moves, everything that they got going on. And you're doing this to make sure that they don't have some type of reaction to you so that you can control how they react to you so that you can feel peace within yourself. Let me ask you a question. Does that sound sustainable? Does that sound like something that's going to make you a better or healthier or happier person? No. It's very, very bad to be a people pleaser because in reality, it means that you are a manipulator. You think you're doing people something good by trying to figure out everything that they want and making sure that they never react badly. But in reality, that's exactly why people keep reacting badly towards you and why you keep attracting narcissistic, toxic, just people that don't really value your life, value your energy, value your time. You remember when I said that people pleasers are actually manipulators who have been manipulated by other manipulators to be a manipulator? Well, what does that mean? Why is it that that makes you a people pleaser? Well, one of the main reasons why you end up being a manipulator who thinks that the manipulation you're doing is in other people's good is because you probably grew up in a family or around people that made you feel like you needed to control or contain or make sure that situations were okay in order for you to be okay. Maybe you had a narcissistic mother, maybe you had a toxic father. You had some sort of instability in your life or in your family that made you feel like you needed to take control of everything. Essentially, they manipulated you into believing that in order for you to be loved for who you are, loved as you are, be a good enough person, you needed to perform some type of game. You needed to keep things smooth. First and foremost, that's not them loving you for who you are. That's not unconditional love, even if they try to tell you it is. That is programming. That is manipulation. That is conditioning. You might have heard the saying, hurt people hurt people. That saying is true. You don't become a people pleaser from nothing. And you might think that, oh, your mom is toxic and your dad is toxic or they're narcissistic or whatever they are, but they're most likely people pleasers too. And you feel like they were manipulative against you. You probably ended up being a manipulator too. But in many ways, people pleasing is not a word that carries as much weight as manipulator. And that is why I want to rip off the band-aid and make you realize that when you are a people pleaser, you are a manipulator. This does not mean that you're a terrible person. This does not mean that you're doing this because you want to wish bad things on people. A lot of manipulators that are people pleasers don't know that they're doing this. This is just the way that they've been raised because they believe that in order for them to survive and not be kicked out of the tribe, aka kicked out of the family, they need to make sure that everyone reacts a specific way to them. But this is also something that shrinks people pleasers a lot. This is exactly what makes them stay in a bubble of ending up being manipulated by others. And it's also something that makes them stay in a bubble that makes them unable to grow and unable to achieve the success that they really deserve. The reason why it's so important to understand that people pleasing is manipulation is because it makes you realize just how bad it actually is for yourself. It makes you realize that you're actually trying to control people's reactions to you, people's ideas about you, people's what they expect from you. And you can never control that. You can never control anyone's reactions to you. You can never control how people are going to go about their life, but you can learn to control how you feel about yourself, how you react towards people that try to make you people please. And you can be transparent with yourself, which is the first step. So the first step to stop being a people pleaser that we were going to dive right into is you need to be honest with yourself about the fact that you are one. A lot of the times when you're a people pleaser, you usually also have a victim mindset. People pleasers have a tendency to also have a victim mindset. That's exactly why you got to sit down and be like, I have a victim mindset. I am a people pleaser. If you've never sat down and be honest with yourself about the fact that you're a people pleaser, and not even like in a joking way, like, haha, I'm just a people pleaser. I want to make sure everyone's happy. You sit down and look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm a people pleaser. I try to manipulate people into liking me, or I try to control how people react to me. When you say that to yourself or write that down, it's gonna hurt a little bit, but it hurts to take off the Band-Aid. But you're gonna be like, wait a second, I don't wanna be that person. That's not who I am. I'm not a manipulator. I'm a good person. And then you'll realize, well, what does being a good person mean? And also, let me just state that being a people pleaser is very different from being a kind person who looks out for other people. Now that you've sat down and written in your diary or looked yourself in the mirror and say, I'm honest about the fact that I am a manipulator and I am someone who has a victim complex, then you can move on to step 2, which is taking full responsibility for yourself, your own emotions, and your own reactions towards other people. No matter if you react just because you're someone who has a reaction to things, when you get triggered, when you have a reaction, whatever it is, that is something that is programmed within you. That is you. That is something you can change. You will have to change that to stop being a people pleaser. And the way you change that is by saying, I take full responsibility for my feelings and my actions. And you can't no longer blame your people pleasing on other people or your victim mentality or whatever. All of your problems, all of everything you're going through, if you can't no longer blame it on everyone, then you actually become much more aware of how your actions impact your life. You become like, oh, really? That's interesting, because a lot of the times when we just say, oh, it's someone else's fault, or, well, it's just men are bad, that's why I always end up with terrible men, or this and this and that. Whatever it is you're telling yourself, that's the reason why you end up in bad situations. And it's always blaming something on other people and not taking responsibility for your action, and especially not taking responsibility for your reaction. That will make you manipulated into being a manipulator, because you're literally treating your emotions and your actions like it's something to deal with another day. And if you actually want to have real self-growth, you can't be doing that. You have to take full responsibility. And full responsibility is hard. It's like getting full custody of like a whole child, because you have to take custody of your own self. You are literally an adult. You're no longer a kid who's someone else's responsibility. You are your own responsibility. So you have to understand that is a responsibility you need to take. You can't just go around and blame it on everyone else. And if you're unwilling to take this step, aka taking responsibility for yourself, your reactions, your actions, you can't become a non-people pleaser. You can never become the version of yourself that gets everything that you want if you do not take this step. Because this is also the step that lets other people walk all over you, because you do not value your actions and your times, and you do not regard your triggers as something you need to work on. You just regard them as, oh, that's just a part of me. It doesn't have to be a part of you. Having to people please doesn't have to be a part of you. Being around toxic people, always attracting toxic men, it doesn't have to be a part of you. The next thing you have to do is you have to get extremely good at playing dumb. A lot of the times when you're a people pleaser, the thing that holds people back from actually just pleasing themselves and not caring about what other people think is that they want to make sure that people understand how smart they are. That's something that we've been programmed to do from we're kids, especially when you're a woman. When you're a woman, you're always told that brains matter more than beauty and you need to be a really smart person. That is something that society does to make you prove yourself, to make you fit in, to make you do as society pleases. They want us to believe that brains matter more than beauty and your own self-preservation, your own creativity, your own self-expression, because that's a way to make us do more. When people say, oh, you need to be smart, it's not because they actually care about how smart you are and they value you for being smart. A lot of the times, the manipulators that manipulate you into being a manipulator say this so that they can get you to do more for them. That is how they manipulate you. So the best thing in this case to get these manipulators out of your face so that you can actually get the grace and the relaxation you need to recover and take responsibility and face your emotions is you need to play dumb. You need to get very, very comfortable with the uncomfortability of playing dumb. Proving to stupid people, to manipulators that you are smart will not make you smarter. It will just make you both look stupid from a distance. So you need to get very, very comfortable with shutting your mouth, not saying as much as you're usually saying, and observing more. And if people ask you stupid questions, you just act more stupid. Compounded with this, one of the best things I can recommend for you to do, especially if you are a woman, is to get on your self-care game. Make sure that you look good every single day. Maybe even look so good that people may doubt that you actually got anything going up here. If you look dolled up, if you look a little too pretty, people are not going to expect you to be smart. And if they do see that you're also smart, they're going to be threatened by you. When you dress up really nice and really cute and you have your little skirt on and your little dress on and you look really, really nice, people assume you're dumb. Because in most people's, especially manipulators' head, they don't expect you to be both smart and beautiful. So when they see that you're extremely beautiful and you got a little too much makeup on, then they automatically assume that you got nothing going in your head, which means that if you look expensive as well, like you got your little nice bag, you got your, nails done, you got expensive makeup, you smell good, people can see and smell that you put effort into yourself, they're going to be way less likely to approach you because it's going to be too expensive and it's going to be too hard for them to manipulate you. Generally, being someone who puts a lot of effort into yourself will make you harder to manipulate because it also signals that you value the time that you spend with yourself. And when you signal that you value the time that you spend with yourself, then you're also way less likely to be approached by people that want to waste your time because you look like someone who's confident on your own. You don't need people to cheer you up. You don't need people to tell you what to do with your time, how to spend your time, that you need to do better, do more, do this and this and that. But the reason that playing dumb also works, especially with toxic family members, and now we're not talking about dolling yourself up, we're talking about being less responsive, just being a little more like ditzy. We're talking if your mom sent you some condescending message, or if your aunt is telling you something where you're like, why are you telling me this? Or you're getting some type of comment from some family member or some friend who's trying to make you a people pleaser and who's trying to draw out information from, the best thing to do is just reply as if you thought whatever they said was some little positive comment. Reply as if you expect them to be positive. The reason why a lot of the times we get manipulated when we're people pleaser and we get manipulated into people pleasing, we react instead of directing the situation, and we react instead of just detaching. Maybe someone tells you, oh, I could never do that, or aren't you sad, or whatever they might tell you. This is exactly when you play dumb and you forget to reply. And if they keep nagging about stuff like that, then you just don't talk to them. Like, you just have to cut them out. You have to be adamant about that. Like, maybe you have a family member who texts you, oh, how have you been? And you know they're on some like, oh, your life is so sad. Like, they always want to make everything sound sad and they always want to talk about bad things, unhappy things. This is when you're like, oh my God, I had such a good day yesterday. Or you reply something really short like, I'm having a great day. You just need to be more vague. Say less, reply less, save your energy. Even, you know what? Prompt ChatGPT to give you like really, really short, positively inflicted reply. How can I reply in a short way that makes it seem like I understood this message to be a positive message and I'm just trying to redirect it to be positive back? Make it short. Like, if you say that to ChatGPT, it's gonna give you options. We all know that person who's always like, yeah, the weather's so hot today, and when it's cold, it's like, oh my God, the weather's so cold today. Like, when a person like that texts you and they're trying to get you to say something, this is when you're like, yeah, I love the hot weather, and you leave it be, or you don't even reply. Play dumb like you didn't understand what they just said. When you get to the point when you're only responding positively, or whenever someone is saying something positive, like you stop responding when people are just trying to be negative or trying to make you people please, trying to make you be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, what can I do? How can I help? Then you're literally taking control of your energy instead of trying to control how people react to you. In the beginning, it's going to be slightly uncomfortable doing that because your body is going to think, oh my God, I'm going to get kicked out of the tribe. I'm not going to have any food. I'm going to literally decompose out here. That's what your body is trained to react because it doesn't want you to be kicked out of the tribe. It doesn't want you to be without people or without food. But that's not how life works, right? Like, you're an adult in a world where that's not how things go. If people don't like how you're doing things, they can go get themselves a pacifier if they want to cry about the fact that you're not here to people please them. When you play dumb or play vague or play however you want to say it, just take your energy back and only reply when it's good. Then you learn how much energy you have saved. And this is where the next step comes in, which is probably the most important step of stopping being a people pleaser, is you need to get so much going for you in your own life that you do not have time to care what other people think. The reason why people pleasers often end up continuing to be people pleasers for a long time is because they base their life, they base everything that they got going on other people. They want to have a crowd, they want to have a community, and there's nothing wrong with having community, but it's not good to have community that wants you to perform. You end up getting literally put into this matrix of having to people please your whole life because you were afraid of exiting the matrix. And then you'll forever have to do everything for other people to make them happy instead of making yourself happy, because it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's how things are going to turn out. So now is the time to get your money up, not your funny up. You need to focus on creating more than you focus on making sure that everyone else is happy. You need to have so much going on in your life that thinking about what other people got going on and how people react to you and whatever, literally you don't have time for that. You're like too tired. Think about a single mom. A single mom who has to make sure all of her kids are taken care of, who has to make sure that money is going where money needs to go. If you are not already a single mom, imagine you are. Imagine having to make sure that you have a job and you have your kids to take care of, and you also have to take care of yourself. Do you have time to care if people tell you, oh, you got too much going on, or wow, are you really doing all that? No, you want to make sure that your kids have what they need. And whenever you get to relax, you get to relax. This is actually the thing that most young people end up doing. And this is why they become people pleasers. And this is how they end up being people pleasers for life. It's because when they're very young and they have a lot of available time, which you usually do when you're young, they end up filling that time with fulfilling everyone else's needs instead of creating something from themselves. And this is why I want you to learn to isolate yourself, not isolate yourself from the whole world, but you need to take your energy back from whoever you're hanging around. If you cannot spend your time on your own, like completely on your own, we're talking no friends, no partner, no family, and you can't make things work like that, then you are more likely to become a people pleaser in the long run and sacrifice everything you want for everyone else. And I'm not telling you if you have good friends or if you have a good partner or if you have good family that you need to like abandon them and say goodbye forever. No, that's not what I'm talking about. But if everyone else around you is making you feel like you need to be a people pleaser, that's when you need to cut them out for a while to see if that makes you feel like suddenly you have no purpose. If not being around people makes you feel like you have no purpose, then you are most likely a people pleaser. And then your existence is based around how you can manipulate people into reacting to you in a specific way. And now that purpose has been taken away, which means that you don't know exactly what to do with yourself. And now you need to put your energy into creating something for yourself that can make you money, that can make you happy, that can make you healthy. Anyways, this was a little video about how to stop being a people pleaser. And if you want me to make other videos about this exact topic, let me know in the comment section below. And if you have any questions whatsoever, make sure to also leave them down below. I know that being a people pleaser is something that can be really hard, and especially because you feel like you're doing something right, but you're also doing something wrong. And let me tell you here before we finish the video, there's nothing wrong with you being a people pleaser if you can admit to it. It's kind of like if you have a shopping addiction. If you can admit to having a shopping addiction, that's the first step to getting rid of that shopping addiction. And you can't shame your past self for having been a people pleaser. If you do that, you will never unbecome a people pleaser, because now you're just trying to please the new version of yourself that doesn't even exist yet. And then you're literally like abandoning your inner child. That's a lot of the times what ends up happening when it's like, I'm not a people pleaser anymore. I'm going to stop being a people pleaser. Now you're just pleasing the future version of yourself that doesn't exist, and you're forgetting about your child self. Anyways, that was today's video. I hope you guys liked it, and I hope you liked being on a little walk with me. I think this is a fun way of doing content. Let me know if you like this type of video. I know there's a bit of noise in the back, but I feel like it goes more smooth and it's fun to film while I'm out walking. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Love you so much. Goodbye.